Hi guys, welcome to another crochet tutorial with me, Laura, and in this video we're going to be going back to doing some Tunisian lace. And I've already done one tutorial already on Tunisian lace, but this is going to be version 2, so it's going to look like this. This is more of a blocky lace. So yeah, let's begin. Okay, so for this tutorial I'm just using a DK light worsted weight yarn, yarn weight of 3, but you can use any yarn that you have to hand. But with it I'm actually using a 5mm crochet hook, so I'm actually using a hook size that's a lot bigger that's normally recommended for a DK light worsted weight yarn. So, and that will just create a nicer drape. So if you've got like a worsted weight yarn, you may even want to go up to a 5.5, so have a little experiment. But what we're going to do is we're going to work to units of 3. So I'm just going to do my little slip knot, and then I'm going to just chain a little sample. So let's chain 3 to begin. 1, 2, 3, then 4, 5, 6, then 7, 8, 9, then we'll do up to 12, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so I've just chained 12, which is going to be 4 times 3. So working to units of 3 times table. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to do a normal row of Tunisian crochet to begin. So if you're brand new to Tunisian crochet, then I do recommend checking out my beginner tutorials if this is a bit too fast. But what we're going to do, normal row, is going to go into our first second chain from our hook. So don't count the loop on your hook. There's your first, there's your second. Go into there and we'll bring up the yarn onto our hook. Go into the next chain, grab the yarn, keep it on your hook. And we're doing this all the way across. This is just normal Tunisian crochet to begin. You should end up with the same stitch count of what you've chained. So we should have 12 loops on our hook by the time we get to the end. Okay, so just coming up to the last chain, keep that on your hook as well. So you should have 12 loops on your hook, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. And then we just do a normal reverse row in Tunisian crochet. So we always at the end start off with just pulling the yarn over and pull for the first loop only. We always do that because it keeps the project square and straight edged, and then we're going to yarn over, pull through 2 until we get to the end. So it's like doing a really big stitch. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2, all the way back to the beginning. And that is just a normal row of Tunisian crochet, like one set of Tunisian crochet stitches. Okay. Oops, that's too many. And then when you're back at the beginning and you just got the one loop on your hook, you should have something that looks like this. So you got these vertical bars, which you should be familiar with Tunisian crochet, these little like ladder shape. Okay, so once you've got your little ladder of stitches, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to skip the first vertical bar because we've already got the loop on our hook, so that's just normal Tunisian crochet. Find your next vertical bar in your ladder, and we're going to put our hook underneath that vertical bar and just do a simple stitch. So we're just going to grab the yarn and bring it onto that vertical bar and then keep the loop on your hook. Okay, so that's nice and normal. But then what we're going to do is we're going to chain 1. So try and keeping your stitches loose. We're going to yarn over and pull through that first loop only to do a little chain 1. But as soon as we've done that, we're going to bring our hook back and we're going to hook that chain 1 onto our stitch as well. Okay, so you've got 3 stitches. So I'll show you that again on the next bit. But what we're going to do is we're going to skip the next vertical bar. Okay, so skip this next one and put your hook under the next vertical bar and do a simple stitch. So we're going to grab the yarn and bring it through. Keep that on your hook and try and keep that stitch sat the right side. Okay, then we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to chain 1 for the first loop only, but then we're going to hook that stitch onto our hook as well. So we're going to hold our stitches on, bring your hook down and just put it through that chain 1 and keep it on your hook. That's all you do. Then we skip the next vertical bar and do a simple stitch under the next one. So go under the next vertical bar, grab the yarn, keep that on your hook and make sure your stitches stay the right side. Do the same thing again. We're going to chain 1 just for that first loop only, but we're going to grab the stitch. So holding those stitches on your hook, put your hook through that stitch and then just keep it on there. Okay, then we skip the next vertical bar and go on to the next vertical bar, do a simple stitch, just grab the yarn. Okay, so we're going to do that all the way across to the end. So then we're going to chain 1, bring your hook back and put it through that stitch, skip the next vertical bar and go on to the next vertical bar, grab the yarn, make sure that's at the right side. It's important they all sit in the right place. Chain 1, then bring your hook back and go through the chain 1 and keep that on your hook. Skip the next vertical bar, then find the very last vertical bar and put your hook through there and grab the yarn. Okay, and make sure that stitch is in the right place. Alright, so you should still have 12 stitches or however many you're working to. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Okay, then we do a normal reverse row. So nice and easy reverse row. We just do a chain 1 at the beginning, first loop only as normal, and then we pull through 2 till we get to the end. Let's pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2, all the way back to the beginning. So that's just a normal Tunisian crochet reverse row. So I don't know if this is a Tunisian lace stitch that's been done before. I would say invented it myself, but it probably exists somewhere in the world. But hopefully you can think of some really fun projects to try with it. Okay, so that is our first Tunisian lace version 2 set. But the next set of rows backwards and forwards are going to be slightly different, because what we're going to do is, again, we skip the first vertical bar as normal because we've got a loop already. We're going to do a simple stitch under the second one. So grab the yarn, keep that on your hook. But then we're going to find the gap that we created and put our hook into the gap. We're going to go to the back and grab the yarn from the back and then just keep that on your hook. Then find the next vertical bar there, go onto the vertical bar, keeping your hook at the front and do a simple stitch. Okay, then find the gap and go through the back and grab the yarn. Keep that on your hook and do that all the way across. So next vertical bar, if that can sometimes look like a vertical bar there, here, but just make sure it's this vertical bar that's feeding from this stitch here, this little oval shape, okay? And go onto there, keep your hook at the front, grab the yarn, bring it under, keep it on your hook. Then go through the gap to the back and grab the yarn, keep that on, find the next vertical bar that's feeding from that loop, and do a simple stitch, then through the gap, then simple stitch, through the gap, and then the very last one on the end as well. And just double check your stitch count is still 12. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. If you have any more, then you've probably worked into some wrong stitches. Okay, then it's a normal reverse row. We're just going to chain 1 to begin. We always do that to get our edge. Yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2, back to the beginning. So the reverse rows in this project are always the same. So it's different to my Tunisian lace version 1. These reverse rows are always the same. We just pull through 2 till we get to the end. Okay, so that is our second set of stitches which make up the pattern. So the first set and the second set are what make up the pattern. So that's slightly different and it's coming together. And now we're going to go back to our chaining method on the way across. So skip the first vertical bar because you've already got your loop, but we're going to work into that second one. go into there, do a normal simple stitch, just grab the yarn, but then we're going to do that weird chain one thing. So we're going to chain one just for the first loop, holding your stitches on your hook, bring your hook back and put it through the chain one, then just keep it on your hook. Okay, then we're going to skip the next vertical bar, which is going to be above this gap here. Find your next, so that's, skip that one, find this next vertical bar, do a Tunisian simple stitch, just bring that under, keep that on your hook. Then we chain one, bring the hook back and put it through the chain one to get that stitch. Then we skip the next vertical bar, which is going to be above that gap, and find the next vertical bar and do a simple stitch. Okay, and we just repeat that all the way across, making sure that these sit in the right place. Chain one, put your hook through the chain one, skip the next stitch, the next vertical bar, find the next vertical bar, do a simple stitch, chain one, hook through the stitch, skip the next vertical bar, do a simple stitch under the next vertical bar, chain one, put your hook through the chain one, just keep it on there, skip the next vertical bar and then find the last vertical bar. Just if you find it hard to see where it is, then just line up your hook against it and you should be that one there. Okay, just do a simple stitch in there. Then make sure all your stitches sat in the right place and that you have 12 stitches. 6, 8, 10, 12, and then we do the reverse row. So chain one first, always chain one first, then pull through two to get to the end. Okay, so that's our chaining set of rows. And then we go back to just normal simple stitches, but working into the gaps that we've just created. Oops, too many there. So for the next row, what we're going to do, we skip the first vertical bar, go onto the second vertical bar, grab the yarn, do a simple stitch, but then we find the gap and go into the gap to the back to grab the yarn, keep that on your hook, then find the vertical bar coming from the loop and do a simple stitch, keeping your hook at the front, and just repeat that to the end. So go for the gap, keep the stitch on your hook, vertical bar, simple stitch, through the gap, then simple stitch, through the gap, then simple stitch, through the gap, and we end on going through the stitch, the last stitch. Okay, and then it's a normal reverse row, so we do a chain one, then pull through two until you get to the end. To the beginning, and then we go back to our chaining set of rows, and there you go. So you just repeat that, those two different types of rows, those set of rows again and again, and you've got your Tunisian lace version 2. So the next one, we just go back to the chaining. So we go onto that second vertical bar, do a simple stitch, and then we chain one and grab the stitch. Then we skip the vertical bar coming from that gap there and find the next one. Keep that on your hook and do a chain one. So there we go, you just repeat those two sets of rows over and over again and that's your stitch. Simple as that. So hopefully you'll give it a try and think of some fun projects to try with it. And yeah, I will see you soon for some more crochet fun. Thanks for watching, guys.